3 hours. Is that a bit much? Do we think that is a bit much? Alright, so look, positive note first. Solo Sikoa is a pretty good heel. Took some growing pains last year, but he's really coming to his own as a delusional jerk. He's got Jacob Fatu as his hype man, and this segment, it reminded me of a Batista heel segment back in 2010, where Batista just refused to cut a promo, and instead wasted everyone's time for about 10 minutes. Sikoa here, miserable as anything, just eats up the jeers, and never even bothers saying anything. He's so ashamed, he's so sad, he's so angry about his loss to Roman Reigns, I guess. And you've got Tama Tonga tweaking out, as per usual. I know a coke face when I see it. Jacob Fatu's going mad, he's tearing the fans a new one. It's not a bad segment, it's good stuff. It's simple, but it's effective. And either Sikoa or Fatu could have benefited from a title win right about now. Not necessarily a world title. In fact, either of them crushing LA Knight's US title run could have gotten some good heel heat. A constructive step for either guy, right? But no. Instead, LA Knight lost the belt back in November to longtime WWE superflop Shinsuke Nakamura. Big star in New Japan, youngest world champ in the promotion's history, and he even turned a mid-card belt into a main event one while he was there, which is quite impressive. Japanese fans were very into him, and that's great. But the cultural and historical significance of his King of Strong Style persona means absolutely nothing to most Western fans, and instead, what you have is an increasingly arthritic oddball pulling funny faces and doing spazzy dance moves, gyrating like a drunk uncle at the strip club. It's never worked. There's a reason he never got a world title run in WWE, and NXT does not count. But because he is an NXT smart project from yesteryear, Triple Nose sorts him out a quick mid-card title run and a quick and easy feud here and there. Speaking of LA Knight, he came back for revenge this week, after he got beaten up, as he always does, last week. He jumps Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga this week. He's going to beat them up. He's going to get even. He attacks them from behind, like a heel. Shameful. And he still gets whooped. Real way to boost his cred right there. Really good. And it's one big J.O.B., Braun Has-Been, who comes out to save him. You might have forgotten. But last year, Braun Has-Been came storming out during a beatdown segment on Raw. That's a big change. He stormed out to stop, get this, listen to this, to stop a big, chunky, nasty Polynesian tough guy from beating up a guy who's pretty good at promos. That was Bronson Reed, the man who seemingly attempted to end his own career for some reason at War Games. Now, on Smackdown, Strowman repeats the exact same thing, movement for movement, just switching out Reed for Jacob Fatu. I tell you, it's like watching Tenet or Groundhog Day or something sometimes. Very repetitive. Jimmy Uso versus Carmelo Hayes. This was actually alright, genuinely better than a lot of Jey Uso's singles matches over the past year or so. These two had a great dynamic in the ring. It's a pleasant surprise. Hayes, he has good facial expressions. Jimmy Uso, he works decently as a babyface. The big DQ finish seems to be setting up Sikoa versus Jimmy Uso, which makes sense. But the problem, right there, the problem is that the Bloodline is completely played out now. It peaked in 2022. It began to dip in the second half of 2023 with the Reigns-Jey Uso feud. And now, 2025, it's time to move on. This is heading into late-stage NWO territory. Kevin Owens is crazy. Have you noticed that? He really wants you to notice. He does this a lot. This is the Kevin Owens special. He spends some time as a witty, likable, fat guy. He becomes good friends with some wrestler who's probably in better shape than he is, Cody Rhodes in this instance, spends time as their pal, and then, oh no, Big Kevin's gone crazy, now he's out to kill them. You see, for all you youngsters out there, Ring of Honor used to be its own promotion, and not just a sad, dying, waste of money extension of AEW. And Kevin Steen, as he was known back then, did a popular angle with El Generico, who is Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn, I am tired of grown men saying, "Whatever happened to El Generico? He must still be teaching kids how to wrestle in Mexico." You're 41. You know full well he's Sami Zayn. You can just go ahead and eat my shit. How about that? And as the painfully few people who watched my Raw review earlier this week will tell you, it's been a rough week for me in that department. Oof. I might never eat sashimi again. Anyways, look, I work on Saturdays. It's a long day for me. And then I come home. I'm single again, by the way. Some of you might recall the even smaller audience who watched my wonderful bra and panties video. Don't worry, I wasn't in bra and panties. That would be weird. It was good stuff. Some of you might recall, I mentioned my partner at the time in the video. Well, that's over. So the burial is back on the market, ladies. And that is approximately slightly less than 1% of my subscriber base currently, right now. Yeah, good. Yeah, I'm up for grabs. Unfortunately, though, both of the frankly not very good videos with my face in them are still having copyright issues. It's been 2 months. But trust me when I tell you, I am a very, very, very average, inoffensive, non-threatening +1 for social outings. Anyways, Kevin Owens, he's doing it again. Right, so in Ring of Honor he betrayed. He turned on his pal, El Generico. Oh no. He did it again to his other pal, Steve Corino, a year or so later. Then he did it to Sami Zayn in NXT. Then he did it to Chris Jericho on Raw. Then he did it to Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes, the latter of which is an angle right now. Owens is running around with Rhodes's Eagle Wings belt. I'm not a Kevin Owens fan, I just want to make that clear. But frankly, he should have won at Saturday night's main event. Unfairly, of course, and then stolen the belt. It's a cheap win, he's a scumbag. Given Rhodes a ringer to run through. Give him a darker edge as he seeks revenge, and then make him a 2-time champ at the Rumble. Not everyone has to hold the belt forever. It's fine to have a couple of runs. It's fine to have some breaks. Now look, Kevin Owens, he's pretty good as a loudmouth heel. He's used to playing it by now. His promo with Rey Mysterio, it was fine. It was kind of fun in a cheap heat kind of way. And again, their match was fine. These guys know what they're doing. They've been around long enough to work a crowd and smartly pace a TV match. Cody Rhodes running out to make the save was obviously the right call after the bout. The American Nightmare running out in trackies, all hot and bothered, unleashing on Kevin Owens was a pleasant surprise. I'm so used to this guy crying and weeping and begging for cheers and asking what people want to talk to him about or something. Seeing him let loose a bit, show some fire, some rage. Big improvement. Babyfaces should have some fire. They should be angry in angles like this. He's been betrayed. His career endangered by this psychotic French-Canadian he thought was his friend. Ooh, tough stuff. So yeah, not a terrible segment. Nothing revolutionary, but solid logical character work and psychology. Overall, even for viewers who are huge fans of Rhodes and Owens, I think you can see where I'm coming from with Owens having a quick title run here. It just would have added more heat to this whole thing instead of him most likely losing 3 title bouts in a row. Obviously, it is a Royal Rumble tradition for Kevin Owens to fail to win a world title. Even John Cena's original big title run had a screwy surprise finish when Edge cashed in his money in the bank on him, and then Cena got the belt back a few weeks later. It just keeps things interesting. It keeps things a little more fresh, a little more unpredictable. Right, so look, guys, I mean, that's the stuff I paid attention to. I told you, I had a long day today. My relationship is over. Smackdown is 3 hours. 3 hours. And I've had food poisoning this week. You can't expect me, you cannot expect me to sit through a whole bunch of women's matches and the middle-aged machine guns. It's not there. I'm not having it. No. I will say, though, Bianca Belair is pretty good. Fans seem to like her a lot. She was alright as a leading star a couple of years back. And now she's always in tag team matches. All the time since last year. I don't get what that's about. Waste of a talent who seemed very over as a singles champ. Jade Cargill is out for a while for some reason I can't remember. Naomi has slotted in. Triple Nose seems to think if you're the same race, you're guaranteed to be a team. White, Latino, black, doesn't matter. If you have a similar skin tone, you must be on the same side. I'll tell you a little personal anecdote, quite a few of those in this video. One of my dearest friends from back in the day, I've known him since college. He's British Indian. His grandparents moved over from India to the UK back in the day. Now look, he's quite a big guy. And he used to joke about being a wrestler. He was very into his weightlifting. Let's just say I took some steroids, a lot of them. And we both went into wrestling. We became a tag team. I guess if we made it to WWE, Triple Nose would split us up day one so that I can tag with Sheamus and he can go join Jinder Mahal in GCW or something. So that's Bianca Belair, wasting what's left of her athletic prime years. I think she's like 34 now. El Doudrop did something. She might have passed wind. I couldn't tell. Oh, you know what? Who cares? Oh, who cares? Main event. Tiffany Stratton. Alright, she's not bad. She's kind of funny as a ditzy, bratty heel. Obviously, she's a very good athlete too. I can perfectly understand why WWE's pushing her. Massive improvement on Nepo Jax as SmackDown's women's champion. But, you know, she's only 25. And despite the talent, still kinda green. Which is fine, takes time. 20-minute main event is a very tall order, especially when you are green against someone as awkward and as boring as Bayley, who has the worst finisher of all time. Byron Saxton had a better finisher. First it was just a crappy belly to belly, now it's this weird face plant move that looks like hot garbage. Looks like something a rookie at wrestling school would come up with and be laughed at for, rightly so. Awful promo as well, boring as champion, boring as challenger, and when I even pondered how anyone could find such an overrated boredom festival interesting a while back, the most explanation I got, the most reasoning anyone could give me, is that Bayley's ass is big. Which, yes, I have noticed. Okay, fine, but by that logic, let's drop Bayley, goodbye, and get, I don't know, Megan Thee Stallion on the show, then. How does that sound? If that's all there is to it, get Kim Kardashian in. Her ass is still huge. Sexy Red's already there sometimes. What's that OnlyFans whore who pretends she's a rapper? Hold on. Ruby Rose, there we go. Ruby with an I. Because Ruby with a Y is that Batwoman freak. Batwoman Season 1, what a show. Yeah, so get her on as well. Actually, get them both on, screw it. There you go. If that's the bar, there's some new talent for you. Excellent. Yeah, the match itself was nothing to write home about. Stratton's moonsault at the end looked good, though, so that's something positive, at least. Oh, and then this was quite strange. I was quite confused by this. Some high schooler kept arguing with Bayley. Apparently she moonlights as a wrestler when she's not attending class. Roxanne Perez. Why is she a heel? Clearly, with that look, she should be an underdog babyface. She turned heel in NXT, apparently. The thing is, no one cares. No one cares. What works on one brand doesn't necessarily work on the next. They're cutting this atom weight woman, this molecule of a woman, they're cutting her off at the knee, bringing her in as a heel. When standard WWE audiences love rooting for outmatched underdogs. Anyway, that was SmackDown. This I can't even speak properly anymore. This review was late because of work. So now it's behind the curb. So I'm going to go... It's about 9:30 p.m. here. I'm going to go out. I'm going to get drunk.